back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video. It's going to be another project pan update. Today I'll be updating you on my whole collection project pan. I have no idea what update number we're on, but it'll be in the title, and I feel like that's just not that important. But what is important is that this project was created by Becky Loves Kanga. She will be linked in my description box down below, as well as some other ladies that I'm currently collaborating with. It's not like we're all posting at the same time, but there's like a DM or what do they call it? Yeah, Instagram DM group chat that we're all just like cheering one another along in, and I can't keep up with any social media, so I'm literally the worst cheerleader ever. I'll have a bunch of other people linked down below, and you can also just search the hashtag whole collection project pan if you are new to this project and the whole premise of the project. Essentially, my entire makeup collection is categorized on an Excel spreadsheet, and I have randomly selected 10 products to work on, to try and use up, hit pan on, or hit some numerical goal on. So if you guys are interested in seeing my update, I will be rolling 2 new products in this update, which is super exciting. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you love to chit chat about makeup or you love project panning, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's get into the update. This is the second video I'm filming today. I also filmed my Pan Those eyeshadows, and I mentioned in that video I always do a dark waterline eyeliner, and then I always do like a really smoky lower lash line, which I did not do today, and I just feel like I look super weird. So we'll see how editing goes. If it's not good, I apologize. All right, you guys, let's get into the update, starting with, I think this is the only product that has been in here since the very beginning. This is my Maybelline lipstick in Baddest Beige, and I did have a sheet where I was marking like my progress on this. However, my dog ate that, and then I never started to do marking sheet. My project pans have turned into an absolute hot mess this year in terms of tracking progress. So I apologize, and I promise I'm going to be a better panner next year. In fact, I think I'm going to invest in a scale, but I also had to completely reboot my computer and lost all of my pictures as well. So my project pan updates for the rest of the year are not going to be super interesting in terms of visual progress, and I apologize for that. I don't have a ton of this left. However, I do feel like it's going to be a push to finish this up. I do love this lipstick, and I 100% would repurchase this when I finish this, but I would love to finish this because this would be the first time I would ever in my life that I can recall have finished a full-size lipstick. I'm still chugging away. I've been using this at least, I would say, 2 to 3 times a week, but I have quite a few other lip products that I'm currently working on, so it's been a little bit slow going. Speaking of other 2 lip products, I didn't realize I had 2 lip glosses that I was working on in this project, but I guess I do. And one of them is on my lips today. I absolutely love the NYX Butter glosses. These are like an OG staple that I don't hear a ton of people talking about anymore, but I would, like myself included, but I would still recommend this gloss formula. It is not that sticky. I was going to say it's like a little bit sticky, but it's not that sticky. And for a gloss formula that's been around for a while, I feel like it still competes with some of the newer glosses that have come to the market. This one specifically is in the shade Madeleine, which I really, really love because it's this beautiful nude brown shade. And the NYX Butter glosses do have some good opacity to them. I mean, they're not like the most opaque, but they're also not very sheer either. They definitely have some pigment. I love a good nude brown gloss, so I really do enjoy this. My goal is to finish this, and I can't remember if this is opaque packaging or not, but I have no visible progress on this, so I don't feel like I'll finish this before I wrap this project up. I will end this project, I think, on December 5th, and then I'm going to wrap the project up on January 5th, but then I'm going to do a refresh instead of like just continuing on. So I do have one more update. That means to finish that, I won't finish the gloss. That's what I'm trying to get to. The other gloss that I'm working on is this one from Bareminerals. This is another OG that's been in my collection for a while, but I do really enjoy the Bareminerals gloss formula as well. This is in the shade Groovy, which is it doesn't look as pale on my hand as it does on my actual lips, but this can pull pretty pale. This again has some opacity to it, has some color, definitely not sheer, and I haven't reached for this a ton. Again, I do really like this gloss formula, but I kind of forgot it was in my project, so I've reached for it a few times the last few days. My goal is to finish this. I don't think I'll do it before the end of the project, but I'm just happy to continue to be working on it. Speaking of products that I've kind of forgot about, let's just get those out of the way. I have 2 single shadows that I just completely forgot were in my project. So first I have this Supershock shadow from ColourPop. This is in the shade Soul-Calize, and my goal is just to hit pan on this. I forgot that I was working on this and like put this back in my single shadow collection. That's how bad it is. And I feel like I could have gotten some good use out of this shade the last month or so, because I have been so into like mauve tones, and I feel like this would have just been a really nice lid topper. This is one of the Ultra Glitter shadows, which can have some glitter fallout. I want to see how I can build this up. I'll probably hit pan while swatching this, just because that's how it goes with Supershock shadows. But the Ultra Glitters can definitely have some glitter fallout throughout the day. I do prefer to wear it with a glitter glue just as a base to kind of help grip that glitter. But that's what it looks like. It would just be a really beautiful lid topper, and I'm sure if I just use this a few times, like in this concentrated area in the center, I could hit pan on this. So I think if I just stick this back in my collection in like my acrylics that I use day to day and reach for this a few times, I could definitely hit pan on this by the next update. And the other single I completely forgot about was this one from Shroud Cosmetics. This is in the shade Sea of Ghosts, which looks like this, and it is this really beautiful shade that I feel like could work really beautifully with like a cool tone. This is so beautiful. Why have I forgotten to reach for this? I could do so many different looks with this shadow, and I feel like this is such a nice shade for this time of year too. It's more of like it's like a blue with like a gold flip. I just think it's so beautiful. A gold and silver flip. It's stunning, and I'm disappointed in myself that I did not reach for that at all. My goal is to hit pan on that. I feel like it'll be a struggle to do that. I probably won't reach my goal by the end of the year, but I'm still gonna give myself that goal, because gosh, that is just a beautiful shade. I feel like if I dusted this super lightly on the lid, I could even get away with this where I'd be comfortable wearing this to work. We're gonna play around with this one tomorrow. That's what we're gonna do. Next up, I have my Hourglass Ghost Quad, and this one has been a little bit of a struggle. So earlier this year, I was working on this shade in this project, and I actually reached into this a total of 50 times, but this is just like a nude, kind of like cheek enhancer. Like if you just want to amp up your blush a little bit, I would reach into this, and it was stunning. And now I'm working on this shade right here, which I believe is in the shade Lucid Glow. And it is a beautiful shade. I love this Ghost Quad. I do plan to pick up the new Hourglass Quad. By the time this goes up, I'll have already placed my order, but I'm filming this a day before the Sephora VIB sale. And I do plan to pick up the quad, but I like the last year's quad better than I like the looks, at least, of this year's quad. So here it is right here. I should have reached for this more in the summertime, just because this is more of a summertime shade for me personally. But I'm putting effort in. My goal is to reach for it 30 times. As of the last update, I was at 14 uses. I used it an additional 2 times, so we're at 16. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it by the end of the year, you guys. You can sheer it out too really pretty. This could be something I could wear to like the gym or something, because I'm still that bee that wears her full face of makeup and a mask to the gym. Yeah. Okay. 14 more uses to hit goal on that. Next up, 2 more products before we get into the shade, or then 2 more products before we get into the items that I'll be rolling out. So I am working on a shade in my Beige Moonchild palette. I'm working on this shade right here in the shade Blue Moon. And as you can see, I've been kind of focusing my brush right here. I mostly just use this, and when I say mostly, I only use this as an inner corner highlight. I don't use this to highlight my cheeks or anything. I'm just not that type of gal when it comes to at least this shade. It would just be way too icy on me. It's a really, really beautiful lavender shade, and I love it for inner corner highlighting, but just on the cheeks, not so much. So my goal is to reach for this 30 times. I gave myself a pretty lofty goal with that. Thank you, former goal making Steph. And I reached for this 1 time. 1 time. So we're at 8 total times because I had reached for this 7 times up until this point. Again, 30 times or pan, but I don't really see myself reaching either of those goals. I could have used this with my eye look today, but I didn't because I forgot, because I'm horrible. That's where I'm at with that. And then I also decided to throw palettes into the mix for this project about halfway through the year. And I decided if I rolled a palette in, I just want to use the palette in any capacity, a total of 20 times, just to try and randomize my palette collection and get some more use out of palettes that maybe I wouldn't have. But I also am doing the Pan Those Eyeshadows project. Like I said, I filmed that earlier today, so if that video is up, I'll leave it linked. So I didn't want to put pressure on myself to try and pan more shades of eyeshadow. And the last update, I rolled in my Marc Jacobs Elec-Trick palette, and I'm really glad that I rolled this in because this was definitely getting neglected in my collection, but I've gotten quite a bit of use out of this. So again, I want to use this 20 times, and I've reached for this 10 times. So I'm halfway there, and I definitely think I could easily hit my goal come next update. I don't know if you'll be able to see, I have been working on this shade quite a bit. This is in the shade Rockout. This is a beautiful, like very subtle inner corner highlight. It's not like super blinding and super metallic, but it's also not like a matte inner corner highlight. I think it's absolutely stunning. And then I've also dipped into this shade quite a bit too, because I've been playing around with pinks quite a bit, and I've been having fun with cool tones in general, so I've also reached into this shade a few times. But overall, I've used this 10 times, and I don't think I'll have any problem reaching my goal of 20 by the next update. So that brings me to the 2 products that I finally have reached my goal on. Up first, I have another Hourglass product. This is my ambient lighting powder, and I gave myself a goal of using this 30 times. As of the last update, I had used this 24 times, and now I reached for an additional 7 times, putting me at not 71 uses, you idiot, 31 uses. I don't know, again, if you guys will be able to tell, but like in the center, like I have been working on this product. This has been in my collection for quite some time now, and I thought I was gonna fly through this product, and it's just very slow going. I have to be very intentional with using this product. So I feel like now that it's not in a project anymore, it's gonna start collecting dust again. I should put this in my rolling project 10 pan that I'm going to be doing in 2021, just to continue to get use out of this. I would be really happy to finish this off someday, but I just don't know if that's in my future. I've used this, so the ways that I like to best use this, so a lot of people love this as a finishing powder, and now that it's winter, I have used it as a finishing powder a couple of times. Not winter, fall winter, but now that the weather is getting colder, my skin is getting drier, and I'm craving more of a dewy look, I have been reaching for this as a finishing powder to give me a little bit more of a glow, but I also love this as a very subtle highlight. And Kelly Gooch gave me this idea, but using this to kind of blend out your eyeshadow, perfect for that. So those are the ways that I have been reaching for this. I'm going to try and remind myself to continue to reach for this throughout the rest of the year, but I may have to toss this into another project to get more use out of that. And then I was really surprised to hit pan on a shade in my Kat Von D contour palette so quickly. These pans actually seem to be very, very thin, but as you can tell, I hit pan on this. I'm trying not to like blind you with my light or the mirror, but I hit pan on this shade right here. I use this to set and brighten underneath my eyes, and I used it as an all over lid setting shade as well. And that's how I was able to hit pan. So I'm very excited to be able to roll out 2 new products and roll in 2 new products. I know we only have a couple more months left of the year, but it's just fun to randomly select products anyway and just try and get use out of them, whether or not you're hitting your goal. I mean, it's always great to hit goals too. I'm a very competitive person, but let's just get into the random selection. So I've tried, my whole collection spreadsheet probably isn't like the most up to date, but we're just gonna call it good enough for today. So I have 576 eligible items, and we are going to randomly generate 2 numbers. We get number 239 and number 279, both in the 200s. Okay, let's see what these are. If I get any more lip products or if I get another eyeshadow palette, we're not doing that. And I'm going to be annoyed if I get a blush. Number 239 is actually a product that I have just decluttered. I'm not even sure if my declutter is live yet, so I'll have to re-pick for that. I feel like this has happened to me in previous whole collections where I'll have just decluttered an item and then I like, what are the chances that that's the item you roll? But that would have been my Danessa Myricks Dew Balm. And then number 279 is Becca Malibu, which is a lip gloss. So we're not doing that. So we have to roll 2 more numbers. So we're gonna clear history and we get number 507. That might be a single shadow, which I wouldn't feel like working on. And 467. All right, 467 is a single shadow. Do I want to do another single shadow? And 507 is probably another single shadow. No, 507 comes from a... Okay. I also don't want to work on any more singles because I have my singles. I feel like I'm being really, really picky about this, but we're rolling 2 more. Okay, so we get number 32. And number 472, which I think is another single shadow, so I'm just gonna roll again. 412, that might not be a single shadow. So 412 is, where are you? Is a palette. It's my, which I only want to work on 1 palette at a time, but because I've rerolled 1,000 times already, and I actually really do want to work on this palette, we'll toss it in. We'll work on 2 palettes at a time. It's my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. And then the other number that I generated was number 32, which I'm going to assume might be a foundation. Would rather not work on a foundation, but I'm being really choosy. Oh, it's a primer that I finished up. It's the Origins Original Skin Primer. So I'm going to have to roll again. You guys are probably like, girl, I thought you updated your sheet. Okay. We get number 16, probably gonna be a primer. I've used so many primers this year. Number 16 is my Smashbox 24-hour, foundation. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, you guys. All right, the 2 products we are adding to this whole collection project. We have my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. I will take a picture of what this looks like now versus like the next update and the finale. I mean, you can see that this has gotten some wear. This is one of my favorite palettes, and because this was limited edition, I find myself sometimes not reaching for this because I kind of want to savor the palette, but that's such a horrible mindset to be in. And I also have been playing around with this palette to kind of satisfy my urge to buy the Pat McGrath quad that has like the blues and like the more rich brown matte. So I am actually really, really excited to just play around with this palette. This is such a versatile palette. For being 10 shades, you can do so much with this. So we'll see where I'm at next update. I think it'll take me until the finale to reach my goal of 20 uses on this, but I am really excited to work on that. And then I've got my Sharpie here because the other product I randomly selected was my Smashbox 24-hour foundation. It's still kind of settling a little bit, but I am going to mark it right about here. Now, by no means do I think I can finish this foundation by the end of this year, but I would say if I could get it to be below, let me see if I can get it to focus. If I can get it to be below 24-hour, like, I would be happy with that. I'm working on so many other foundations. I know that might not seem like a lot of foundation, might not seem like a lot of movement, but again, I'm working on so many other foundations that I want to be realistic with myself. This is something too that used to be a favorite of mine, and I just haven't loved it as much as some of the other foundations that I brought into my collection this year. So I'm not for certain that I would purchase this again when I finish it. So this is something that I would love to finish by the end of next year. So I will be excited to just get a head start on this. And yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today's video for this whole collection project pan update. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you've recently finished up anything, if you were doing a project pan like this on your own, on a social media account. Tag me, link me, whatever. I will go check you out. Thanks so much for supporting my channel as you guys always do, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.